Hi gin lovers, Philip Jones, the Martini Whisperer here. In this little clip, I want to talk about another favourite Australian gin of mine. I'm not supposed to have favourites in my line of work, but I've been a big fan of Melbourne Gin Company since they debuted back in 2013 with their original release. And this is one of a couple of Australian gins in Gin Society's lineup of international premium craft gins. So I'm great to be able to introduce this to you if you're not familiar with it. So this is called Single Shot, a limited edition small batch. Andrew comes from a winemaking background and is really passionate about very natural expressions for his gins. And by that I mean he takes a lot of care around the botanicals and the flavour profiles, and Melbourne Gin Company gins tend to have a very generous flavour profile as a result and gorgeous mouthfeel. So this particular release is built a little bit different in distilling. So if you're talking about classic London Dry, what you might do is have the different botanicals distilled separately. So the juniper from the citrus and from, coriander or whatever the botanical mix happened to be. In the case of a so-called single shot, they're all in together, distilled together, and it's a one shot in terms of once you start the distillation process, you can't stop it. And what you get at the end of the day is what you get at the end of the day. So it feels a bit more risky, but a lot more fun for that matter. And it lands at 47.4% alcohol by volume, so that's slightly higher than your normal, say 42% ABV in a gin. But that's also there for a reason, because that extra alcoholic note also helps carry the flavours of the botanicals as a result. So it's not there to be extra boozy, it's actually there to be a palate for richer flavours of the botanicals. The other thing of note around this gin is it's non-chilled filtered. And what that means essentially is that part of the distillation process, when it's distilling, and it's taken all the flavours from the botanicals and it's coming out the other end, so to speak, before it's diluted, coming out of the still, there's no chilling, which sometimes happens with a lot of gins, where they kind of really make it really, really cold, and that helps them separate some of the volatility and the oils from the spirit, which makes it a bit lighter and cleaner and so forth. But by choosing to have non-chilled filter, Andrew's gone for the point of actually retaining those flavours. So again, it's richer, it's a bit more oilier, it's got a much more generous mouthfeel than say a gin that's been chilled filtered, and it's an intentional design decision. And what you'll get also when you drink it, and I'll show you when I make a drink now, you'll get a very interesting effect. It's all about generosity of flavour. So this has been quite successful. It's won awards in San Francisco and London and international competitions, well deserved. And he uses 7 botanicals. So juniper, of course. You're going to have orange peel, angelica root, cardamom, lavender, and some Tasmanian leatherwood honey and bergamot. So really interesting flavour profile and choice botanicals there. So let's make a drink. Now, given that it's a slightly beautiful aromatic nose, not spirity at all, very, very clean. I'm kind of thinking I might be a bit cheeky and make a dirty martini out of this. And to go with, I'll use the Nolly Pratt French Vermouth, and I'll probably just put about 10 mils of this. Again, the flavour's pretty generous for the Melbourne Gin Company, so I don't want to compete with that. So we put a little 15 mils of that in. Then 2 measures, so 60 mils of the gin. And we're just going to stir that down nice and quick. And because I want it a bit, I'm not going to go super dirty, if you follow. I'm just going to make it a little bit savoury. So I've got my special mix of olives and olive brine. It's my little treasure. And I'll just add a couple of spoons of that into the mix, because I'm thinking that this is one I curate myself, so it's got a few secret ingredients in it. So not going to be super oily, but it'll add some nice savouriness to the mix to complement the nice rich flavour profile that the Melbourne Gin Company adds. So I'm just going to stir that down till it's nice and chilled. I'm using a chill glass, and it might be hard to pick up, but that's getting a little bit cloudy. And the reason that comes back to what I was saying about non-chilled filtered. By doing that through the distillation process, Andrew's decided he wants again retain those extra flavours you get from the botanicals, not strip them out. And so what you're going to get is a lovely, rich palate. Chin chin. Let's go. Classic Nicanora glass. Some nice olives. Free, always an odd number for luck. And we're just going to pour that in like so. Strain over the top. And I'll also hold this up so you can see. You'll notice that it's a little bit cloudy. And again, that's what they call louching or louche, they say in French. And that's the oils coming off the botanicals. Again, that's a conscious decision. So the net result is a beautifully aromatic, savoury and rich martini. So Melbourne Gin Company, gorgeous stuff. You could just drink this on ice, I reckon, just by itself. Just that nice, but try it in a slightly dirty martini as well. Bit extra vermouth. So cheers. Enjoy.